Yo, just a disclaimer. This podcast is meant for informational purposes only. We are not financial advisors, so please do your own research. Welcome to Going Deep with AJ and Vernon, presented by Vayner Sports Pass.
Welcome back. Episode 3, Going Deep. Can't believe we're 3 into it, but this is fun. Thanks for joining us. AJ, what's good, my man?
What's up, brother? How we doing?
Doing well. Got back from LA. A little bit of all-star stuff since Jordan Lawler got put in the futures game.
Yeah.
Had no plans of going to LA. Glad I went. Got a chance to see him do his thing, and it's amazing for a young kid to be in high school 1 year and then be playing in Dodger Stadium the next in the futures game. It's fun to see young talent, fun to see him be happy and his mom hopes. So had a blast.
That's awesome, man. That was a fun one for us as an agency, right? Because we had, for us this year, I feel like the All-Star game was like a youth movement in the sense that we had, Jordan in the futures game, Alejandro, Shane, like definitely fun to have some of our best and youngest on stage. So it was a great weekend. Hyped.
No doubt.
What was your take on the home run derby? Just based on, and you participate. We talked about it. You've been in one. Like, what you think of the derby this year?
Yeah, I try not to talk about my experience because it didn't last very long. So yes, we'll act like that never happened. But it's fun. I think for the way they've changed it, to get as many swings as you can in a certain amount of time, it adds some excitement to it. I love seeing the young superstars in the game doing it. Unfortunately, we don't necessarily get that as much in like the slam dunk contest, just because of
great point.
It is what it is. So I love seeing that. But then you have the polar bear going against obviously going against young superstar and Julio Rodriguez and losing that, but Juan Soto is special. What he's able to do with a bat in his hand, it's impressive, and everything that he's going through outside of the game to be able to just tunnel that and focus and put on a show. It shows who he is. So I enjoy it. I think it's one of the better events when it comes to showcasing at an all-star event.
You made such a great point. It's a shame that the slam dunk contest doesn't operate the same way right now. Like, that has to change. What do you think changes that? Because I think I saw something that maybe Julio made as much or more from the bonus from his placement in the Derby versus rookie salary. Like, do you think the NBA needs to put up a pot of cash to get the next LeBron and the next group to do it? Or how do you think we fix the slam dunk? Because I miss it and what it meant. Yeah. And then also, I feel like it also needs a refreshing. It's kind of like there's only so much that can happen in a slam dunk contest. So I'm curious, putting you on the spot, your NBA commissioner, Vernon Wells, how do you fix the slam dunk contest?
Well, the problem is, like, if you're putting money towards it, NBA players make a stupid amount of money, like early on in their career too. So now that bag that they're having to get has got to be huge. So it's got to be that component with possibly a charitable component that matches it from the league.
Yeah.
And glorify the game. Like, if you're glorifying the game, which they obviously do a great job of doing, when it comes to that slam dunk contest, you put the biggest names, the best jumpers, the names that everybody knows in the game, and you do that, it would blow everything else out of the water. Like, it wouldn't be
$5 million to the winner. That gets everybody going, right?
It gets everybody going. Maybe not LeBron, but yes, you get John.
Right.
You get those guys to do it.
And
then it becomes bragging. Like, you start bragging at that point.
Well, here's the thing too. I think the $5 million has like a double. First of all, $5 million is not that much money for like the NBA to invest or to get even a brand sponsor, or a few brands, like Super Bowl commercials for 30 seconds or $3 million. I think you can find a brand to put up 5 and then even match the other 5. Like, I don't think $10 million is a problem. And where I think it solves twice, and it's pretty interesting, is $5 million gets John Morant going, even though he's making a ton. $5 million, even like Zion just got 200 something. I still think he wants an extra 5. You're going to take 5, even if you got 200. But then 2, I think the intensity level would be low. Like like now it's like,
Mhm.
it's all jokey and everybody's laughing. When there's $5 million on the line, guys are going to have an edge. And I think we're going to feel that edge. And maybe, I don't know, I just love competition so much, but I think that's going to feel through the screen and take it even another level. When you're real money gets it going.
Yeah, exactly. And they're gonna be planning for it. Like they're
Right.
gonna be putting the time into to put a show on, and it would become the greatest show possibly of NBA weekend. Like
If
it would
you're
be it
if
would
you're
be
one
awesome.
of if you're one of the premier dunkers and there's a $5 million cash prize, it makes sense to put somebody on salary for $300,000 a year that's a data scientist that just graduated from MIT, just to invest in the research of how you could win the dunk contest, right? Like,
Mhm.
we're talking about real money, and that
Real
would
money.
create a wild environment.
I think we just changed it. I think we just
I
changed
think we
it.
fixed it. Adam Silver, you heard it here. We're good. We'll just take front row seats when you pull the trigger.
Please. Yes.
Let's hop over to the NFT land before we get to our guest, Keith Smith. Keith has the ability to talk sports and NFTs. So before we hop into that interview with Keith, NFT space, Vern, remind me, you're what, how old are you? This is not, there's no,
43.
it's not like a trick, or I'm just asking for real.
No, I always had to think about how old I am anyways, because I don't even think about it. I think I'm 43. Yeah, 43.
43. You're 43. Cartoons growing up. What cartoons hit for you growing up at 43? You're in between me and my brother, so I don't know. I guess my sister, she never talks about cartoons.
Yeah, I had issues growing up as a kid. Like I was sheltered. Only time I got outside was like playing sports. I was kind of a weirdo. People, I don't know. I had issues growing up as a child. But the only things I remember like watching as a kid was like Saved by the Bell.
Okay, so no
Fresh Prince.
cartoon.
I didn't really watch many cartoons.
There's no cartoon that like hits you in all the feels.
Yeah, no.
All right, well,
You?
this was all a big setup for my NFT thing I wanted to cover, but I didn't do a good job. I picked a scenario in which you don't care about cartoons, but yes, cartoons were big for me. I was not as sheltered. TV was fine. And especially having older siblings, I saw, curse, fuck, shit, damn. I was like 6 when I was hearing those and using those. So, and I think everybody listening has a good familiarity of the type of mouth my brother possesses. So I had the
Yeah.
opposite experience.
Yeah.
And so the reason I set that all up and it's so off topic is it's actually very on topic. And full disclosure, I do hold a financial interest in the success of what I'm about to bring up. The Nickelodeon NFT drop. So the first Nickelodeon drop happened. I'm 35. Nickelodeon was a big deal for me. And an investment in Vayner Fund, the VC fund focusing on Web3 that Gary and I have, along with some of our partners. We're investors in a company called Recur, and Recur partnered up with Nickelodeon, provided the technology and the framework and the strategy to launch this NFT. So yes, I am biased. Check the blockchain. I bought 2 of them off secondary well after mint. I gave it time. I never want to make money off inside information, anything like that. But I will talk about what Recur Nickelodeon did. It was a top trading project on OpenSea, so I was into it. And it hit me hard. I'm the target. I'm 35. Rugrats were big for me when I was like 7, 8, 9, 10. And then Hey Arnold was big, 11, 12, 13. So I hit it perfect. For those that are in that same era, I was crushed to not see Rocket Power in the mix. I think Rocket Power, I need an auto NFT to go with my Tommy Pickles and my Arnold. But it was just cool to see. And I was curious to see if you caught the Nickelodeon drop. Actually, I know you caught the Nickelodeon drop because we're in a text thread where it was discussed. But tell me a little bit about your perspective on a big brand drop entering the NFT space recently.
Yeah, which is interesting. Like it kind of piggybacks off some other conversations we've had when it comes to celebrities and now big brands doing these things, and attaching it to something that people truly love and remember as kids. Like it seems ideal. Obviously, if Nickelodeon's going to continue to do this and continue to spark it, I think it's brilliant. And you talk about Nickelodeon. See, my kids. Now I'm aging myself a little bit. My kids watch cartoons, but they watch more Disney than Nickelodeon. And the Disney's changed so much over the years too, but it would make sense for some of the shows that they watched, and you bring those characters to life through NFTs. I understand the nostalgia behind it. Then it's obviously with anything else, it's executing from that point on. What do you continue doing? What do you continue growing and doing for the community? Which with Rugrats. I remember I had some kids in the family that loved Rugrats. We didn't really get into it, but now it's, what are they going to do next? Like that's the thing that everybody's with NFTs. Like what's next? And everybody's really concentrating on the now.
No, that's super fair. And I agree. They got to do something. I think, let me rephrase. They don't have to do something.
They don't have to
say that. I think at the current environment we are in July 2022, the expectation probably most of the buyers that they will, so that they have to balance. But I'll be honest, like this was one of the first NFTs where I bought it because it just pulled on my heartstrings. Like it was like, how do I not own a Toppy pick? Like I'm in the NFT space. And by the way, caveat, I have the good luxury that, financially I'm stable and I can afford to throw up, $500 or something, whatever it was, on a Tommy Pickles NFT. So I don't want to discount that part of it. But like, as somebody that has invested 7 figures into NFTs, and a lot of it I have bought because I like the art. So I want to make sure I differentiate. But this was, I didn't give a shit about the art. I didn't give a shit about the utility. This was a different thing. This was the same reason. Here's a little insight into where, like, my viewing behavior. The same reason that the last 3 nights I've ended on the couch with watching a Royal Rumble from the mid-90s, because I love nostalgia. It's fun for me to go back and think about what it was like when I was watching Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, or watching Tommy Pickles and Arnold. And I forget, I'm a bad Hey Arnold fan. I don't remember Arnold's last name, but I think you get my point. So that's interesting. I'm curious to see how that just develops in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think you brought up another great point of like the reasons why you buy NFTs. Is it art? Is it just something visually that is just stunning to you that you really want to be a part of? Is it something strange? I mean, I saw some of the oddities stuff that came out from Moonbirds. It's weird, but if that's your thing, then you're like, okay, this is awesome. I love different things. Or if it's just straight nostalgia from a project that you just truly love and you want to be a part of, it lends itself to so many different things, which is what I love learning about this community.
No doubt. All right, let's pivot. Let's bring on Keith Smith, aka Beef. This will be a fun one. Keith, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Finally get a little spot in the VSP world.
Yes, sir. I mean, where are we at right now? You in the studio, or you got a little purple light in the background?
This the boom room. You know what I'm saying? Where all the magic goes down. And we can't really, unless you sign an NDA, we can't talk about what goes on down here. You know what I'm saying?
What are you, Snoop?
Yeah, basically. it was inspired by the Snoop compound.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to you.
Yeah,
and just you and Mama in the boom room. That's it.
No, mom's not allowed down here. You know what I'm saying? I gotta keep her pure. So
well, awesome, man. Keith, I appreciate you joining us. What's fun about you, similar to our last client that joined us, Justin Turner, obviously you're an NFL player. That's your day job. But you're at the tippy top of the degens that we have. So it's gonna be fun chopping it up about ball, but also NFTs. I know our community loves it when we got athletes that are really talking shop. So what about, let's dig in a little bit. Let's go. We're going to bounce around a lot. You and I have known each other for a long time. I know a lot about you, so we can have a lot of fun with this convo. I'm going to jump right into like one of my favorite aspects of your story. You obviously play fullback. You're on the offensive side of the ball for the Atlanta Falcons. But people, if they don't dig in, they don't know that you were a tackle machine as a linebacker on the other side of the ball. And, your story and how you ended up being so successful. And what is this, year
9?
That's what I thought. We're one away from year 9 in the NFL. Like,
it's hard to do.
Vernon knows a lot of year 9 baseball players. It's a little bit more achievable, in my opinion, with baseball. But first of all, I don't want to take it. That's not fair. Baseball's a super hard sport, and it's tough.
Oh no, it's fine. We're much softer than this guy. So yeah, we're good.
Yeah, but to enter year 9 as somebody that switched sides of the ball, I remember when we first started working together during the earlier part of your NFL career. Like, can you tell the audience a little bit about your story, coming out of college, coming in as a UDFA with the Cowboys, being a linebacker, and about the switch to fullback, where you ultimately went on to have such a long and continued great career?
Yeah. it's really a roller coaster of a journey, and like you said, I played linebacker my whole career, my whole life. That's just I didn't even really play both ways in high school like that. I played here and there, tight end and fullback, but in special packages. But I was a linebacker at the core, and I feel like I still am. But anyways, like you said, I came in to Dallas as an undrafted free agent. Led the nation in tackles my senior year in college, and didn't really get much love, as far as combine invites or any real high profile all-star games and whatnot. And I played in this little I don't even think it's going anymore. It was called the Medal of Honor Bowl, and it was at the Citadel in somewhere out.
Yeah, I don't think that's around anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, it was just like kind of a one-off type thing, and there was some good talent. And Malcolm Butler played in it. Roosevelt Nix,
Yeah.
uh, Turbo Taylor. What's Turbo's real name? Anyways, Turbo played for the Bears and the
Taylor
Falcons.
Gabriel, right?
Taylor Gabriel, yeah.
Yeah, the receiver. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, and there's quite a few guys that actually made it out of there. But anyways, long story short, didn't get much love. Ended up signing with the Cowboys, and just kind of fought politics heavy the first few years there. And I was cut, re-signed about 20 plus times over the first 2 years of my career as a linebacker. They drafted two guys my year, and then they drafted two linebackers again the next year. So like it was just a lot of money in front of me. We were kind of deep at linebacker. Sean Lee, Justin Durant. We had a talented room. So it was much respect to those guys, but it was frustrating in my seat because I just felt like the odds were stacked against me. And I just kind of grinded it out, and I kind of made a name for myself on special teams, and kind of ingrained myself in my special teams coach's head, Rich Bisaccia, and he kind of became my best friend throughout my career, really. And so after my second season in Dallas, towards the end of the season, it was like the last week of the season. Like I said, I was up and down on the active roster, P squad. So I was doing scout team heavy. I was literally playing everything. I was playing running back. I was playing tight end. I was playing fullback. I was playing receiver. And I was out there actually catching on dudes and making plays on Anthony Brown. Hopefully he hears this so he can remind himself of them days. But yeah, I was just really having a ball, having fun, and just doing my part to contribute to the team however I could. And it was funny because one of my boys, he one of the OGs, Tyrone Crawford, he actually pulled me aside, and he was like, "Hey, Beef, you better slow down over there on Scout O, because you're gonna end up over there on that side of the ball." And I was like, "Man, watch out." And little lo and behold, the last week of the season, our running back coach, rest in peace, Gary Brown, he had approached me. He was like, "How do you feel about the running back room?" And I was like, "Man," just kind of shook it off. And he was like, "No, I'm serious. Like, we're really considering trying you out at fullback." And so like that off season, had my exit meeting with Coach Garrett, and he kind of gave me the lay of the land of what they had in mind and stuff, and just kind of went from there. And then I tell you, the turning point in mentally for me was during OTAs that off season, and I was starting to learn the offensive playbook. It's a whole new language. It's like Spanish. So I had to kind of convert myself, and I was still being stubborn to myself. Like, I'm a linebacker, you know what I'm saying, just trying to buy in. And Jason Witten pulled me aside and he was like, yo, he was like, what do you have on 2Jet? And I was like, stuttered, and it just took a second for me to get it. And he was like, nope. He was like, see, he was like, that's the fucking shit. Excuse my language, guys.
No,
But
you're good. This is a Vaynerchuk led podcast. You
this
can say
is
what you
raw material. He was like, that's the fucking shit that's gonna get you cut. He was like, I'll tell you what, he was like, I've seen what you've done on scout team and everything. And he was like, you have what it takes to make this transition, blah, blah. And the fact that the coaches are trying to make you transition means that they believe in you as well. And he was like, you got to be on your P's and Q's and know everything up and down so that when the opportunity comes, then you're ready. And that was my turning point mentally. I was like, dang, the GOAT is telling me I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Witt was kind of the OG, like, you know, Hall of Fame, Cowboys all time, you know. So it was just kind of like, oh wow, like, okay. And then at that moment, I just kind of made the transition mentally, like, okay, like I'm all in, and then just kind of went about my business, training and everything. And then that first year playing fullback was Zeke and Dak's rookie year. And so just kind of the stars aligned, had a premier quarterback, you know what I'm saying, on the offense. And we kind of had a pretty magical year up until that we met A-Rod in the playoffs, Houdini. But anyways, it kind of just that was the turning point in my career, and it kind of just set me off in the year 9. You know what I'm saying? And I've just been blessed and fortunate that God has kind of put me in the right places, and just giving me the opportunities that I've had to actually take advantage of. So
yeah, as a Cowboy fan, every name that you mentioned resonates with me. And even that year, I mean, that was, as far as offensive line, as far as backfield goes, as far as everything worked. Like, and you're one of the ones leading that charge. So it's impressive because offensively, I mean, up until you ran into Aaron Rodgers, there was no stopping that offense. Like, it was a fun offense to watch, and that's fun to see you in the middle of that year 1 of doing it, which is amazing. But I tell people all the time, like, if you play linebacker outside of any other position, you have to have a touch of crazy. Like, there's got to be something. There's got to be some screw loose for you to be willing to go hit somebody every time with that type of force. Am I accurate in that assessment?
Oh, 100%. That's why I said at the core, I think it actually helped me during my transition, because I still hold that to this day. And you like, as a linebacker, my mentality was like, oh, they got a fullback, I'm gonna kill him. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when I switched sides on the other side of the ball, now it's like, okay, like, knowing the mentality of a lot of linebackers in the league, they really not about that life, and I'm about that life. So it's like, okay, I'm coming like every snap, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna let you know. So like it kind of it worked out in my favor that I really was doing the same thing. I just couldn't wrap up and tackle. I'm hitting folks, you know what I'm saying, and trying to crack you, but you just don't have a ball this time. So and it helped me on my teams, you know what I'm saying? So like, that's why I've been so successful on special teams, is just my linebacker background.
I was just gonna say, you know, you're a special teams beast, you know, type of guy that shows up on the Pro Bowl ballots, high on the list. Is special teams for you like that outlet where you get to be like, man, like, I'm a linebacker too? Like, is that an outlet for you to get to go back to those glory days?
100%, because it's very similar to defense. A lot of the teams, kickoff, punt, you turn into a defensive player. And so it was kind of my like you said, my outlet to let my linebacker live out on the field still. And I still let the LB coaches on our teams know, like, yo, if you need a goal line backer, like I legit AJ, I be talking to Coach Bush. He's our linebacker coach.
Yeah, I know.
And he's like, hey, I've seen that Dallas film on you. Like, when you ready, like, let me know. I'm like, yo, like, let's do this. Cause I mean, my last years in Dallas, I was like emergency LB. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would get reps at linebacker. Every Thursday I get a couple reps or whatever. And just so I'm fresh on everything. But yeah, so I mean, just the special teams, and that goes back to the point about Rich Bisaccia. He kind of stood on the table for me, and during that transition, it was like, let's keep this guy in the building, turn him into a fullback, and get him on the field. It was kind of his selfish way of getting me on the roster so he could use me on teams. And kind of.
By the way, he carried that through, right? Think back to free agency. It's not an accident where you landed, right?
Right, exactly. Took his talents to Oakland and then brought me with him. So I still talk to him all the time too. Just here and there when he's not busy. And you guys seen what he did last year with the Raiders as interim. Yeah. I wasn't surprised at all. So
were you hyped when he got the interim role?
Oh, I was juiced. I texted him, texted my boys over there and stuff, like, y'all in good hands and whatnot. And it was just interesting because, Rich has been around a long time and been on some great teams as well. And he's never been the head guy. He's been assistant head coach, but never been head coach and stuff. So it was just interesting kind of seeing him in that dynamic.
For sure. What about the origin of the nickname? I mean, I call you Beef pretty much primarily, and for good reason, drinking giant gallons of things. And tell us a little bit about the Beef nickname and the origin story.
No, it's really, really simple. Actually, my funny thing, my uncle tries to take credit for the nickname, but I was too young to remember that he called me Beefy. But whatever. But no, really, it started in high school. A lot of people call me Keith, and then like from my sophomore to my from my junior to my senior year, I gained like 25 pounds of like muscle, and then there, and I would bring I want to say 3 meals to school every day, meal prep from home. And like so every time you see me, I was eating. It was like, man, we're going to call you Beef. You ain't Keith no more, you Beef. And then it kind of carried over to college. And then they were like, they seen why they called me Beef. And then it just kind of stuck.
Yeah. So. I love it. Switching gears real quick. NFTs. Tell us about your NFT journey, because like I said, you're a degen.
Facts, for real. I mean, I can accredit you and Gary for just kind of spurring my interest 100%, because had no knowledge previously of what it was. Couldn't believe I was spending what I spent on that CryptoPunk, but I'm glad I did. And just kind of took off from there. And then I just started doing my research, always hitting you up, asking you questions here and there about this and about that. And then just started kind of really getting into the nitty gritty of Twitter and seeing how powerful Twitter is amongst that community. And just seeing the different nuances of NFTs, because there's so many levels and like differences, and like it's so new, so like nobody knows anything, and even if they do say they know some, they probably really don't. And like it's just such a foreign territory. It was just very intriguing, especially with my experience with the punk. It was like, dang, like trying to find my next punk type stuff. And then I started networking and just talking to folks, and there's a lot of good people. It's kind of, it gives me real hippie vibes, like the NFT movements, like everybody loves everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe cross chain, there's a little differences, Solana versus ETH, but I still feel like if you're an NFTer, it's kind of just like love, mutual love, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I appreciated about it, because it was like there was a lot of good organic energy. And I just think there's so much opportunity slash there's so many things that can come from NFTs, you know what I'm saying? Like just with the ability of the smart contracts and everything, especially for athletes. I think NFTs are prime, because the following of NFTs is it's a very similar product as merchandise, you know what I'm saying? Like memorabilia that you collect and whatnot. And I think it's an easy way for a lot of high profile guys to monetize. But I personally I've been doing a lot in the real estate field, and I see the potential there with NFTs. And I honestly think that, to me, it's a no brainer that like housing titles and just property titles are going to become NFTs, because once they figure out how to fit all the language and everything on the back end and the logistics and everything, it makes too much sense, you know what I'm saying? And so like that, for me, that's one thing that I've been trying to look more into. But like I said, just my journey throughout networking with Twitter and learning about these alpha groups and everything, and just the power behind those and whatnot. It was just pretty cool. There's so much stuff, like literally just so much stuff to learn with NFTs, and it's almost a never ending journey. You know what I'm saying?
So you mentioned something at the beginning that Justin Turner actually said the same thing when we first interviewed him, is you listened to AJ and you listened to Gary and you acted. I didn't do that, unfortunately. I was stupid. So, but for you, like with projects, and you see different things, like what draws you to certain projects now?
I think it's my my passion is in the utility. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a big art guy and whatnot, but like I said, like that's why the real estate piece intrigues me, because when you could put a dope utility behind Gary's genius, like with his whole VFriends, like just giving access to himself, you know what I'm saying? Like that was next level thinking. You know, he's early, and that just when you can figure out a dope utility to put behind these NFTs, I think it just makes it that much more valuable. You know what I'm saying? And more sustainable, more than just art, because a lot of times the art can phase out. Like people get into these trendy feels of like, oh, just how the waves of anime has come, and like then you got the apes and everybody has an ape type of ape, different type, you know what I'm saying? Like it just kind of comes and goes. But when you have a utility that's gonna continue to work forever, you know what I'm saying? Like to me, that's what I like the best. I mean, because you know the typical structure is IRL events, merchandise, and pretty much that's it. Most don't have a unique twist to it. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoy when a project comes with a fire utility that's just unique, that makes you want to be a part of that community. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's another piece is the community, like how does it seem like people are front runners and
Right.
and whatnot, but I mean that's always hard to dictate because you're dealing with a lot of people who hide behind these wallets and whatnot. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, that's something I try to talk about all the time too, as I learn about this process and the communities that I see and the people behind it. Like you said, it's true. It's like everybody's pulling in the same direction. That's which you don't often see in life.
right.
That's dope.
Yeah, and I think that's a I mean it's what Gary talks about it all the time in all his little videos and stuff, just a collective like abundance, living from abundance, you know what I'm saying? And just it doesn't have to be us against you, you know what I'm saying? Like we can all win, you know, and I that's the vibe that NFT community has given me, and that's why I've enjoyed it so much.
Beef, what about, so you mentioned the alpha groups quickly. I know you glossed over it, but you've got really deep into one in particular. I think you jump started it. Can you talk a little bit about your alpha group and your experience getting involved?
Yeah, you're talking about A1 Alpha, and
yeah.
It really was just kind of a idea that I had with a couple of people that I met in the NFT community, and I was just kind of thinking about like just my network and just a lot of time how cash grabby and like cheap a lot of these alpha groups can seem as like they're just literally trying to create a pass or something that they're gonna make a few $100,000 off of, and then there's no value in it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not sustainable. And so like that's kind of why I created the group, was one to help onboard like my network of athletes and peoples to just get around like brilliant minds in the space and kind of get good knowledge and good takes on different projects or what be it, and really just get around good people in the community. So like that's kind of what it's became, and that's why I never wanted to charge like a lot of these alpha groups do, because it was like really like this should just be a vibe, you know what I'm saying? Like, and especially the network that we have built in A1 Alpha is like a lot of people, we have a lot of influence in there and whatnot. And really it's like I met a ton of good people through just like reaching out to people like, do you want to join, blah blah, this and that, and then come to find out like this is a great person, you know what I'm saying? Like just talking to people and just seeing. And also what I enjoyed was the different cultures people came from. Like there's people from Turkey, there's people from Australia in our group, just people from everywhere doing NFTs, you know what I'm saying? And like-minded individuals and having regular conversations, you know what I'm saying? It's just cool to kind of see people on different time zones. So it's like I'm waking up to 1,000 messages and then like going to see, it's just a cool dynamic, and seeing like how you could build a community like that within the space, and even just leverage it, trying to help and be a part of different projects as well was cool too, has been cool. But it's been a lot of work trying to maintain and really continue to bring value. So I mean I feel like that's just with anything, but it's just been a pretty awesome experience nonetheless, and met a ton of great people throughout.
Love it. All right, I'm jumping back to football because football, I love football, man. It's my passion. I was this is way before your time. I was actually going to Texas to play both out of high school. Play football and baseball. Yeah, that was back when Texas was good, and then
UT.
UT. Yeah, now they're going to be good again because they're paying everybody. So hopefully that'll be the case.
No, the collectives are paying. The collectives.
I'm sorry. Yes, that's what it is. But for you guys, huge change going into this year. Losing your signal caller, losing a legend at the quarterback position. Like, what are the difficulties and the struggles that you see taking place when you have that big of a change at that big of a key position?
Honestly, I think it's the crazy thing is our whole team. I think I was talking to one of our athletic trainers a few weeks back, and I think they said there's only 30 players on our roster that were here last year out of the 90 that we have. So one, it's a whole new team almost, you know what I'm saying? And I want to say that there's Grady and Jake and then the rookie class that was here when I came here are the highest like tenured. I think there's only like 2 or 3 of the rookies from that class here still. Okay. But anyways, I'm one of the highest tenured Falcons on the team now, and this is going in.
That's crazy to me because you were a Raider 5 seconds ago.
Exactly. I was.
You know what I mean?
Right. The other thing is, when I got here, there was, I want to say, 3 people from California. Now half of our team is from California, like from California schools, team, whatever. Like it's just been a crazy shift in dynamic. But I think that our system is probably perfect for the change that's going on, because it's not really heavily relied on Matt Ryan's position, you know what I'm saying, on the quarterback position. I think we need a solid decision maker, just like any other team. But really, we're gonna live and die by our run game, and if we can't establish our run game, then I think that's football, really. Like,
yeah, that's football. Right.
If you don't have a run game, like, you're not going to really have a chance.
I'll jump in real quick too, which is interesting, where, you know, you got Arthur Smith, head coach, and his system and his offense. And I have a massive amount of bias in this conversation, as you know, but when we're talking about the quarterback position, he's got one of 2 options that he and the team are going to figure that out. We obviously have our guy, Vayner Sports' rookie, Desmond Ridder, super talented, and I think fits exactly what they want to do. And then conversely, he's got Marcus Mariota in there, which is somebody that he had back in Tennessee. So I think, given what it seems like based on the moves that they've done, they're moving towards that type of quarterback. And then they're either going to go with now, or in the future it may change. Depends on, again, I'm super biased, so I won't say too much. But you either got somebody that knows it or somebody that fits it perfect, and it'll shake its way out one way or the other.
100%. Yeah, and I think they've put enough pieces in our room, in our locker room, to where we can have some success. I mean, you guys seen, well, I hope you guys seen what Kyle Pitts did last year. And honestly, from firsthand experience, I don't even think Kyle's really tapped into his greatness yet. Like, he hasn't unlocked his dog in him. Like, he still was a pup last year, like kind of really almost in just a humble state. Like, he wasn't trying to overstep and be that rookie, like, I'm the 4th overall pick, like, I'm here, you know what I'm saying? Like, which was cool to see. But also, I've seen in just like this offseason, like, he's playing with way more confidence and just a little more outspoken, and like, you could just feel the confidence coming under him, and in his play. Like, he's using his body, as big as he is, like, legit. When he stands in the huddle, he's literally tall or taller than all of our O-line. So it's like, he's a big ass kid, you know what I'm saying? But freak talent. And then they brought in the young boy Drake London, which he reminds me real Mike Evans-esque, like body frame and play style, make the big catch contested. And I think that's where this league is. You're gonna make a lot of money when you can make those big catches. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a pass happy league, and there's a lot of good corners now. You know what I'm saying? And so like when you can make that big catch and you're always open, like it's a problem for defenses because there's nothing you could do. You know what I'm saying? And so like I feel like we have the pieces to be successful. We just got to put them together, and it really starts with our run game. I think we need to establish it, and we need to use it as much as we can.
Well, you got to. I mean, you got to be able to run the football. You're able to run the football. You bring more people in the box, and then you got Pitts and Drake. They're working man to man. Like if you put them man to man with people, it's over with. That's 100%. That's the game plan.
And my play count goes up.
Exactly. More
about.
Importantly,
now we're talking business. I like it. What about? I'm trying to think. I don't want this to be a tricky spot or unfair, but like you got two different quarterbacks. Obviously, Dez is our guy. Like, how do you feel about the QB room? Vernon kind of asked about it with Maddie leaving, but how's that dynamic been to the point that, put on your media cap and make sure that you don't say anything wrong or inappropriate?
No, 100%. No, that's what I was saying. I think Art put the right pieces in our locker room for us to be successful, whatever route it goes. And I think that we've got a lot of talent in Marcus and in Dez, and it's just a matter of who's going to step up and perform, because at the end of the day it's a performance-based league. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter what you did in the past or none of that. It's what are you going to do? And so it's really up to them. I don't feel like there's a solidified starter, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I just know that there's a lot of talent in that room that really can pan out well. And I think there's a good surrounding cast for them as well. So it'll be interesting, bro. Honestly, with my injury, I haven't been able to be around like everything and see exactly like the ins and outs, how they're handling themselves. Like I wasn't out on the field at practice once this OTA, so it was like I didn't really I couldn't get a good feel or picture on that. But I just know from like watching on film and seeing like they both got what it takes, you know what I'm saying? And it's just I think it's up to Art to unlock it and really utilize it.
So I was on a plane coming home from LA, and Kyler Murray was on the plane.
Oh, right.
So we got to talking randomly, and he just got paid. So good for him. Yeah, big bag. And we're talking about the difference because Kyler played baseball and the difference that the toll that it takes on the body. And my thought with you guys is just the pounding that you take every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever y'all end up slotted at, and recovering from that and playing it again. But Kyler said you'd be amazed that the only time he got hurt was playing baseball because it's every day. It's nonstop. So the body recovering. For me, having played in high school, and it was Texas high school football, but I knew from there, everybody's getting bigger and faster. And then to get to where you are, how does your body feel after a Sunday waking up on a Monday?
Like I need a wheelchair type.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, that's a hard take from a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Keith wants to sack him right now. Keith's like, "Yo, I gotta play linebacker. Send me on the blitz."
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he's taking as much hits as these guys who are playing in the box. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially up front, you're not gonna go and play without hitting helmet to helmet with somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as far as
that's it. Yeah, that's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking you, because you actually hit people.
Yeah, no, right, exactly. But no, I think that's the most important thing is just finding a routine recovery wise that works for you. And literally, I'm still refining that process, and it's been a learning process for me because now I'm starting to get older. Now I'm starting to see what's not working no more. / I got to do more recovery wise to help certain things. And but to answer your question, it's hard, man. Like, you legit, unless your coaches are taking care of you throughout the week, it's like, I tell guys legit, I remember last season having this conversation. Like, I'm sore after Sunday all the way till Friday. I don't feel good till Saturday. Like,
Yeah.
feel like, okay, the soreness is kind of getting out, and now I'm feeling good. And then Sunday morning, I feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but legit, it's like the studies show, like, we're going through, what is it, like 20 car crashes per game or something crazy like that. And especially for me, you got to understand my impacts hit different because
Mm-hmm.
all my impacts are, my guy is 10 yards away from me, and you ever see the clip of the battering rams that just go, that's me every play, most plays, I'll say. So like, if I have 20 plays in a game, it'll be half of them will be hits like that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then the others are special teams, which, is just as crazy. So
Hey, Beef, don't pretend like they don't let you run a little route here and there, though.
I know, hey, but that's my off time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
I'm just saying. You said half the plays were a hit, half the plays were special teams. You left out that small little percentage. We get to split
right.
out, catch a little swing or a
That's
screen.
the incentive right there. I'm just hitting and pounding until I could get my one or two routes a game. So
Man.
but yeah, it definitely just depends on how diligent you are in your recovery time. Because I remember I got a rude awakening early in college. My freshman year, I didn't know what an ice bath was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went in the training camp in college and didn't ice bath once through Hell Week or whatever, 2 days. None of that. You know what I'm saying? And I was balling. I was damn near starting as a true freshman, and then my body started deteriorating. Like, I legit could not perform because my body was going backwards. I was getting slower, more slow than I already am, and just like I felt weak and stuff. So like, it just was bad, and that was like my first lesson of how important recovery is.
Yeah.
And that's why you see like the little statistics about LeBron spending $2 million a year on recovery. Like, that's legit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, I'm not spending $2 million on recovery, but like, that's how important it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
Right.
gotta take care of yourself. So especially in the football world, because they got all types of, now the CTE stuff coming out and all that stuff. So it's like, it's just all encompassed. You gotta stay on top of your diet, everything.
Yeah, and you mentioned getting older, and I mean, obviously that's part of the process. I remember getting to that point in my stage in my career, but let's bring people inside the locker room, inside the clubhouse, because for us, like veteran guys, we knew there needed to be a plan in place. Like, what are we gonna do when we're done? Like,
Right.
let's be prepared for it so it doesn't catch us off guard. Do you guys have those same conversations in the locker room? Just talking shop, like what's next steps?
Honestly, I don't think we do it enough, and that's one thing that I've been real diligent upon nowadays in my career, is just kind of talking about my investments and all my off the field like ventures and everything. Just not even, because I think a lot of guys take it as a level of arrogance, like I'm bragging, blah blah, but guys don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, a lot of guys just have no clue what's out there, and one thing that I've been learning in the investment world is it's a whole new language, and you got to speak it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You gotta talk it often and have these conversations often. And I don't think guys do it enough. And I think it's just from tradition, like that's just how it's been. Like guys don't really talk about stuff off the field. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
really, um that not for long stuff is for real. Like this is such a short span of our careers. It's like you got to find ways to get creative to stretch out this income that's coming in, and figure out ways to transition. Because one thing that I'm learning is like just seeing me in year 9, I've seen a lot of my boys transition off the field. You know what I'm saying? Like stop playing ball and have to get into the real world. And one thing that I'm learning is the main piece is finding an alternative identity outside of football, because once it's gone, it's like that's all you knew, and you've been in that repetition mentally, um, emotionally, and spiritually, like through for
Mhm.
20 plus years, the greater part of your life. You know what I'm saying? And so like if you don't start like looking for outside passions now, and trying to figure out ways to recreate a new passionate experience within yourself outside of ball, it's like then you get outside of ball, you miss it so much, and then you get into that depression mode and all that, and then you start regretting stuff and everything. And I honestly think that the biggest thing is just finding alternative hobby or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Just find a plan B, not even a plan B, but just something else to venture off into once you're done playing ball, and keep you busy, keep your head busy
Right.
during that transition, so that you don't just cut yourself off like that, and then you don't know what to do, and now you're just sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. And it's hard, it sucks, because a lot of guys go through it, and I've seen so many guys go through it. You know what I'm saying? And also I think it's just a matter of guys actually being vulnerable enough to ask for help. You know what I'm saying? And investigate on this stuff. But like you said, I think getting into the clubhouse, I think it's all about just having these conversations as much as you can. Like it doesn't have to be about money, change, and
Right.
and club experiences. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much, like that's so small in your life, and it's so
Yeah.
meaningless compared to what's gonna matter to you once you're done playing ball. Like none of that's gonna matter. And I think guys just gotta continue to have these conversations and continue to learn new things. And um the I think one thing that us athletes fall short on is the whole get a financial advisor, give them your money, and they just do whatever with it. You know what I'm saying? And you just kind of crossing your fingers. You know what I'm saying? And I think guys need to kind of wake up and start doing their due diligence, learning things, start reading, doing all types of different stuff, so
Yeah.
that they're knowledgeable, that when they do get these big bags and stuff, they know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like
To your point,
something that's going to, because one thing I've been learning is like once you got capital, it's easy to make money. You know what I'm saying? Like with access,
yeah.
but once you got capital and access, like it's so easy to make money. You just gotta know what's out there, and you gotta be invasive and figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's just really what it comes down to.
To your point, Beef, something that I like to do, speaking from the agent side, and look forward to getting to do with you again soon, is with free agency, is really get the client involved with it, because I think there's so much you can learn about just business going
Yeah.
through that type of business negotiation, right? And so,
Right.
actually looking at the numbers, looking at players that they compare to statistically, and every time you show them a player, like, oh, I'm better than that guy. I know you are, but but the numbers say you guys had the exact same amount of catches and the same amount of touchdowns and yards.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the teams are going to point to that, right? And so I think to your point, I've definitely have heard of and have seen of athletes kind of taking certain things like their finances or their contract and setting it on autopilot and praying from there. And I think to your point, I agree. The opposite approach is better. So I love that you called that out. So Beef, to wrap it up, to leave some parting words for the audience, give us one goal, whether that's football related or business related, that you have, coming over the next 12 months.
Over the next 12 months.
Yeah, this coming, it's appropriate because training camp started and, you got the football season coming up, but then you also have after that, the off season, whether it's something real estate related, NFT related, pass catching related.
Next 12 months, really, being the final year of my contract, I want to make the Pro Bowl, 100%. I feel like outside of winning a championship, that's not something that I really can control for the most part.
Of course you want to win a Super Bowl, but you specifically have the most control over.
Right. Self goals is like making the Pro Bowl. And I feel like I made a step last year, and I think it's all about just consistently making some noise per se in that Pro Bowl light. But that is my ultimate, because that's one thing that I really haven't accomplished in the league. You know what I'm saying? I can go 10 years and
So on that note, cool component about the Pro Bowl that everybody listening should keep in mind, and we'll revisit when the time is right, is that there is a small percentage of the Pro Bowl selection that is an audience or a fan vote. And so, Beef, I can tell you, we will definitely do something fun.
Oh, yes.
The Vayner Sports Pass community will activate the thousands of holders, and I think we can drive some momentum for some of those votes. So you do your part. You do your part. We'll make sure our community does ours. You go to the Pro Bowl, then I get to do my part as free agency hits, and we'll go from there. And I appreciate you, bro. Thanks so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun, and I'm sure we'll catch you again soon.
Well,
yeah, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Going Deep. To learn more about Vayner Sports Pass, please follow us on Twitter @VSPass. Also, don't forget to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.